Good morning. We're back in Middle Earth, and as you can see, we're back at Dwaling. So we are going to pick up a whole bunch of quests here. I did stop by the Yule Festival and did my daily quest so I could get my gift bag. And from my gift bag, I got another 500 marks. So before I do my next skirmish run, I'm going to take some of those marks and upgrade my skirmish soldier. But, obviously, that's not for today. Today, we are going to talk to all these lovely hobbits and see what we can do to help them.
Take a moment of your time.
Runekeeper, I am glad you have come by. We have been trying to slowly rebuild what we can. It has taken much effort, but I'm afraid it will soon be all for naught. We are glassblowers here in Dwaling. Always have been, always will be. Well, I hope we always will be. We have been running gravely low on supplies of late. The new townsfolk and creatures about the sands have kept us from venturing too far. We barely have enough to finish our next order. I used to get white sand from my glass blowing from a dear old friend who would travel into Barandov to the northeast of Dwaling. But he moved away not a week ago. If you would travel up to the sand marshes and get me some, I would deeply be in your debt. So, he wants us to gather some sand, some white sand specifically, to make his glass.
Might I speak with you a moment?
Runekeeper, I beg your pardon, but I haven't any other to turn to in these dark times. Please hear me out. Dwaling has never been a rich town, but we have always gotten by on our own. Many of the best glassblowers in the Shire were found in the holes. My dad before me was a glassblower, best in the North and East Farthings, and I learned the trade from him. Recently, things turned for the worse for our little town. What with all the wild creatures about, folks are plain afraid of the northbounds nowadays. Most of the folk had moved away and sold off their property after business stopped. A hobbit out of the West Farthing sent letters and contracts up this way, purchasing holes and land until he bought up almost the whole town. That's when all the trouble began. I used to get my tools from glass blowing repaired by a dear old friend who lived in Dwaling, but he moved away not a week ago. Before he left, he swore he would finish fixing them up. If you would head into Dwaling and see if he left items on his stoop. His hole was on the north side of town. The tools should be in a satchel or bag. I would deeply be in your debt.
Could I take a moment of your time?
Although not many know this, I heard about that business down south of here with the goblins. They are up to no good around these parts. I swear I saw one of them kill one of them spiders and drag it back to their camp, though why they would want something so vile I surely cannot say. I wonder if these goblins consider spider a delicacy of some kind, though the thought makes me shudder. Maybe you ought to go out to the camp at Bleak Leaf Crest, out south of here, and see if you can find those spiders they dragged off. Mayhap the spider carps might tell us something about these goblins. Alright.
Could I take a moment of your time?
It must have been the beginning of fall. I was with my son on the banks of the Brandywine, enjoying the sun, a fine meal, and a full pipe, while he sat and played with his favorite toy, a piece of lead fashioned into a small dog, by the side of the river. My boy was very fond of that toy, but when it came time to leave, it wasn't anywhere to be found. I tried to console him with one of my stories. I created quite a wonderful tale about the toy's whereabouts, but if you're headed that way, perhaps you could search for it. The toy has to be somewhere in the Barandov. This sand marshes north and east of Dwaling. I have heard the strange burrowing creatures have since inhabited the area. There is a good chance one of them could have swallowed it up, thinking it to be food. So, we have 4 quests so far, and one of them goes down into Dwaling itself. So we're going to start with that one. we have a greenie here. Yeah, go away. And we have some glass blowing tools. And everything else is in another part of the woods. So, we're done here for the moment. Well, unless they give us something else to do. Excuse me. I would like to talk to you. So, somebody has bought up all the houses in Dwaling. And that somebody is probably one of Sharky's men.
Can't a body
You
be
have
left
the
alone?
tools. Very good. I can now get back to working again.
Might I speak with you a moment?
Now, this hobbit I was telling you about before, he let big men buy up all the land right here in the Shire. I have talked to Ronald Dwall about sending a letter to old Will Whitford, the mayor, but I don't know what he can do against a sound contract like the one sent to my door. One of my dear friends, Perlina Gamgee, is away in the West Worthing looking for a snug hole to start over in, and I told her I would look after her home while she was away. Those new men in town have a foul look about them, and I don't much trust them, even if they claim to be here to help. If you could go down and check on Perlina Gamgee's residence, just east of here in Dwaling. You look like you could hold your own against any of those ruffians give you any trouble. Alright, so he wants us to go check out his friend's house. Look at these. All these brigands. Complete it, Brigand Slayer. Already. Well, I guess since brigands are on the deed board, we might as well kill a few. Discovered ruffians on Perlina's property. Alright, so we need to go talk to Hobhillbrow, which I believe was the hobbit that asked us to go check on the house to begin with. Yep, there he is. Mr. Hobb, it's not good. It's not good at all, I say.
Huh, how rude.
Well, I never. These big vaults are violating these contracts. What are these times coming to?
Might I have a word with you?
Never in all my days have I heard of decent folk getting attacked in the Shire. Even if this is the North Farthing, folk should still be decent and civil, though I wouldn't put such treachery past these big men. I've asked Ronald Dwall to draft a formal letter of complaint to the leader of these men, Will Tuppen. He is always in and out of the big hole down in Dwaling Center. I would like you to get the letter from Dwall and take it to Will Tuppen straight away. Just go down the big hole down yonder and ring the bell until Will comes out. Make sure you are careful. I don't trust these big folk. Take care that you don't let them bully you this time. And this is Ronald Dwell.
Just a moment.
Ah, yes. Hob asked me to draw up a letter of complaint after you found out about that business with Perlina Gamgee. Business letters are not my usual fare. I am more used to crafting more fanciful stories and letters, but I dare say I did a fine job as any could have asked for. So now I need to go back down into Dwaling and find this door to go ring at. Ooh, it cracked. Now, is it back at Perlina's house again? Maybe? Oh, hi. What are you doing? Shame on you. I don't think it's Perlina's house. Okay. That's fine, because we're having fun killing some of these brigands anyway. I see a doorbell. Haha. You're funny. You died. Might as well kill you too, since you decided to wander this way. Alright, doorbell. Ring, ring, ring. A letter from one of those little rats. Be off. This is our land by Sharky's orders. That fool Lotho doesn't know what he's gotten himself into. Not going without a fight, eh? Well, that can be fixed up. I will deal with you fools later. I have work to do here in Dwaling. So we need to talk to Hal again. Like I said, it's a very dire situation here in Dwaling. I mean, Sharky has slowly taken over the area. Hello, Hob. It is very bad.
Well, the gall
What's
is
that now?
broke.
Shut the door in your face. Well, if that isn't the rudest thing I have heard all day. Bob Greenreeves has a spare key to the big hole. It's a public building, and even if they own the whole town, they haven't the right to close up a public hole. You march right in there and make sure he reads every word of that letter. Talk to Bob Greenreeves here when you are ready to go down to the big hole. Alright, so, hello, Bob. Are you ready for me to let you into the big hole? You be careful. Who knows what those big folk will do once you're inside.
An attempt to lodge a formal complaint on behalf of the glassblower Hob Hillbrow led to a violent encounter with the chief's men. The time has come to put the ruffians in their
Alright,
place.
here we go. Back again with your letter. Looks like I will have to add trespassing to your list of offenses. There are new rules here in Dwaling. My lads here will make sure you don't cause any more trouble. Alright, So. Oh, we got rats in here. Lots of rats. Lots and lots of rats. And she's mad at me because I just killed her dog. Sorry, honey, but you're not John Wick. Get him! I'll deal with you myself. Yeah, I'm sure you will. Now you've done it, the trespassers are here, Chief. You can deal with them. Fool, you have ruined Sharku's plans, and Sharku does not accept failure. And I almost feel bad for the guy. I will deal with you myself. Well, that was what Will was saying. The complaint has been resolved. Complete it. Instance. A formal complaint. Collected the formal complaint. And
How rude!
so their leader wouldn't take the letter. I can't say I didn't expect trouble from these ruffians. I'm going to have another formal complaint written to this investor and tell him just what I think about the character of these men he left into the Shire. You mentioned something about a goblin-faced fellow and someone named Sharky. I'm sure you must be mistaken. There haven't been not like them in the Shire since the Bull Roar's time, and I have never heard of anyone with a name such as Sharky. But what with all the excitement, I'm sure you can't be blamed for your mistake. Heh. Dude. Really.
Might I have a word
You have
with
done
you?
much to help us, and for that I am grateful. I feel that will be a long time before Dwaling feels like rolling hills of the green fields, but we will continue to do our best. One of the things that does concern me is the big folk to the north. Not the ones in town, but the ones beyond that live in the big lake. They were friendly to us. They used to come down to trade for pipeweed and glass. Once or twice I ventured up to see them. They used to make a camp at a bridge that crosses the river, where a giant man of stone watches all the boats that pass. Would you venture up there and see if they are well? Alright, so his next quest actually is going to take us to High King's Crossing, which is quite a bit out of the way. And I guess there used to be a quest that actually had us go all the way to Mickle Delving and back again, but maybe they changed that? It's possible. Alright, so we want to deal with some goblins and spiders. So we're gonna go find the goblin camp. And while we're out in this area, I believe down there is where we go get the sand. But right now, we want to come in here where these nasty old goblins are. And we need to examine the corpse of the spider that they dragged up in here, which is right here. Or, well, one. A quick examination of this spider's remains revealed that the goblins had let it lie virtually untouched. All of the ichor and venom of the spider seems to have been collected by the goblins. Actually, there used to only be one spider in there, but I saw a couple of them, which means they have fixed that quest to make it easier to find the spider. Well, while we're out here, let's go find some sand and see if we can't find a lead dog. Yeah. And here's a goblin with his Bogart allies. Completed Goblin Slayer. Okay. Well, I don't mind that at all. Oh, there's a whole bunch of sands over here. And how many sands did we need? I think 12? 15. Oh, we need a lot of sands. There's a little bitty squirrel over there. Look at it, it's so cute. A red squirrel. Hello, cute little squirrel. Oh, and look, our Bogart friends are back. Now we're gonna start looking for dots. I do see a couple of dots because we're starting to get into areas of Evendom where we're gonna aggro stuff. Now, some of the things are like the sandflies. They don't attack unless you attack them first. And I think the flickering limrens are like that. I don't think they really attack you unless you attack them first. They just follow you around and annoy you. These warn you before they attack, but these are the things we need to... Oh, we found the small lead dog. Oh, wow. That was good. Because it used to be that one would take several attempts. See, it warned me. And across the way there is one of the entrances into... hold on, let me think. Wildwood. I'm going to swim across and make sure I have that stable. So, this is something they added. Well, they added with the Wildwood pack. This little fishing wharf didn't used to be here. I don't know if you want to call this a fishing village, because there's only like the one little hut here, and a boat, and a bunch of NPCs. New deed, Sights of the Wildwood, so we have not been here yet. That's the dock master. And there's a dock at High King's Crossing, which I need to not forget to grab when I'm over there. But yeah, these are NPCs that are part of Wildwood, so we don't need to talk to them. We do need to go back to Dwaling and talk to some hobbits, because we got the sand, and we got the lead doggy, and we found out what the goblins are doing with the dead spiders, which is apparently not eating them. Although I'm pretty sure the goblins could likely eat the spiders and it wouldn't really hurt them. I mean, they do eat rotting meat out of barrels. So I'm pretty sure a little spider poison doesn't affect them. We're gonna get on a horse and ride back. And this is our gala steed from the Winter Festival. Isn't it pretty? Of course, we changed out of our festival finery because, well, we're not going to go run around and kill things and get our pretty clothes dirty. Okay, so there's Dwaling. We don't need to go that way. We need to go this way. Okay. Hello. I've returned with all sorts of information and things.
Hello.
Were you able to find the toy? I see that you did. Many thanks to you.
Might I speak with you a moment?
If my last task was not too taxing, I'm in great need of some assistance from a fellow lover of the written word. I would hope that a runekeeper of your reputation would be interested in assisting me. Not long ago, I seem to have misplaced a very important leaf of paper while I was walking with my notes. This paper contained the beginning lines of a story I planned on writing for my children that had been conjured in my head for some time now. Now that most of the town has been sold off, I have not been able to search for my papers. The last time I tried to have a look around, I was chased off by a group of those ruffians. I would rewrite it, but I cannot seem to recall the exact wording. If you could find it, I would be deeply in your debt. I think I dropped it somewhere in town. So he needs me to go back into Dwaling and find his writings.
Well, the gall of some folk.
They took the venom from the spiders? Well, that's no good. And you found hobgoblins as well? That's even worse.
Might I speak with you a moment?
What those goblins want with the spiders' innards is a puzzle, to be sure. But there's one thing I do know for certain. They are up to no good. Maybe if you kill off the spiders, the goblins will go away. There's more than anyone can handle out east of here. The Northmoors are crawling with them. It certainly won't make any of us sorry to see the beast dead. You just be careful, though. So he wants me to go kill a bunch of spiders.
What do you need?
You have the sand, and just in the nick of time, too. My lads were just finishing up the last of our supply. And now a couple quests have popped
Good day.
up.
How may I help you?
Okay, you don't have any quests yet, but you two do. You would like...
Could I take a moment of your time?
The most challenging part of making glass is getting it to sparkle just so. You don't want to do that with all glass, but most you do. We have found that the limfrin within the dunes carry or have, or are made of, something we called essence. I don't know exactly what it is, nor how they get it. All I know is that somehow it makes glass sparkle, and on that, I'm not even really sure how. You can find the limfrin along the dunes of the Barandov, just north of here. Bring me a bunch of their essence, and I'll be quite appreciative. So those are those light creatures that were floating around.
Good day. Might I have a word with you?
Glass is a difficult thing to color. There are lots of materials to gather up to make any individual shade. Green is not all that hard to make, but what we use may surprise you. I know the sand Nurbig look brown and bland with all the dunes. However, if you crack their shells and look at the underside, you'll see a color as green as the grass itself. You can find the sand Nurbig all over the southern dunes of the Barandolf, just north of here. Bring me a bunch of their shells, and I can mix up the powders for some green glass. So those were the creatures that I killed to get the little lead dog back.
Good day. Might I have a
We
word
use
with
many
you?
materials to make different shades of glass. One of the colors I'm tasked with is red. It is not an overly difficult color to make, but it does require a fair amount of supplies in order to bring out a bright crimson. Salamander scales are the best material I found around here for producing red glass. Unfortunately, our stars are low, so we cannot make any more red or orange. You can find sand-swept scales on the salamanders within the southern dunes of the Barandov to the north and east of here. If you could collect me a bunch, I would be grateful.
Could I take a moment of your time?
We use many materials to make different shades of glass. My favorite color to make is blue. It is a hard and tricky color, particularly when you want to make a glass which looks like a flowing river. I've only found one thing that can make it look how I like, and that is river stones the goblins have taken from the Brandywine. Simple, you say, but not so. I tried to gather them myself, but the color didn't come out the same. Something the goblins must do changes the stone somehow. If you can go to Bleak Leaf Crest and collect several of the stones from the goblins for me, I would be grateful. I could make the most beautiful tea set you have ever seen. So he wants me to go back to the goblins and kill some.
Might I speak with you a moment?
I have lived here for a great time and have studied the behaviors of many of the local creatures. Listen to me, then, when I tell you that a great danger is breeding among the sands of the Barandov. I speak of the Nurbig, vile insects that can be found now among the dunes in great numbers. If we do not do something, and quickly, I fear that the Nurbig will swarm, and whether they swarm north or south is immaterial, for there are good people in both directions. Travel north of Dwaling, onto the sands of the Barandov that line the west bank of the Brandywine River, and defeat any sand Nurbig that you find. Well, since I have to kill some of those to get the green that the young lady needs, I have no trouble with that. Tooth and scale.
Might I have a word with you?
We use the salamander scales as a material to grind down to make glass, and for that they are important to us, but since Dwaling has been filled with big folk, we haven't been as focused on gathering materials as we were before. This has caused the salamanders to run rampant. They are beginning to number an amount we cannot control, and I fear any hobbit who ventures out onto the dunes may fall victim to one of them. While you are out there, defeat some of them and gather up their teeth. You may be able to find a way to make some clothing that can resist the cutting more. Be careful. The salamanders can be vicious if you are not prepared. Alright, so they just handed us a whole bunch of quests. The majority of them are out in the Barandov. One is where the goblins are, and one is back down in Dwaling, which we're going to go ahead and take care of. And that one is for the Chief of Papers. And we might as well kill a few more. Although, once we get to High King's Crossing, we're going to be killing a lot more brigands anyway. Let's see. A wooden chest here. Where are we going? We have another wooden chest. I don't think we're gonna find his papers in a wooden chest. Whoa, where is it? Down there. Alright, we need to kill off. Please do mind. You're rude. There's a lost leaf of paper. Alright, so we can take this to Ronald Dwell. We might as well kill you while we're on the way. Haha. Alright. Mr. Ronald, I have your papers.
Just a moment.
I simply cannot start my book without that page. Have you found it yet? Ah, I see you have. Many thanks.
Please, stay a moment.
Well now, if you have been helpful, haven't you? If you could, I do have one last task for you to assist me with. Among the hobbits of the Shire, a love of language and written works is quite uncommon. A few of my fellow colleagues and I have formed a small informal gathering of sorts for these of us who revel in such art as writing and listening of fictional stories. We usually meet in the evening down at the Bird, that is, the Bird and Baby Inn in Mickle Delving. With the return of my lost paper, I really should get started on my new book, but I haven't an inkling how I should reach my friends in time to tell them of my absence. If you would, go quickly and visit Jack Lewis down at the Bird and Baby before the meeting starts and let him know that I will not be making it tonight. So, I think the last thing we'll do before we pause for the day is we're gonna go run over to Mickle Delving and deliver that message. That way, next time before I start, I can run over to the Winter Festival and get another daily gift bag. Alright, so where are we headed?
A lovely day,
We're
isn't
headed
it?
to brigands. And from there, we might as well just ride our horse. Because otherwise, we're just going to be stable hopping for the next 5 minutes. And how many of those gift mathams have we gotten? Only 6 so far. We'll get some more before we're done. And how is our Shire rep anyway? That is over here under reputation. And that is Matham Society. So we're just a little bit into friend with the Matham Society. That's good. Even if we don't get all the way to Kindred doing this stuff, we'll have made some progress. And there will be places in the Trollshaws. See, in the Trollshaws, I believe the Whites will drop Shire Rep. And I believe the Trolls will rarely drop Shire Rep too. Misty Mountains. You've got some Angmorum up there, or some Hillsmen that will drop Shire Rep. And I think maybe the goblins do too. So there are definitely several places we can get the rep from. We'll go this way. But doing the stuff at the beginning of Evendom has certainly gotten us a fair ways into our Shire Rep. I think that's Way Meat down there. Trying to think how much of yeah, I think we need to go this way. How much stuff Evendom actually has? And I'm thinking it's probably considerable more than I first thought, especially if I'm combining the regular side quest of Evendom with... Oh, we're going the wrong way. With Aragorn's quest, and I may not be able to finish that. I hope I am. Oh, we're still going the wrong way. I do know that there is a fellowship, it's either a fellowship instance or a raid in Evendom, and I don't know if it is required to finish Aragorn's quest or not. I guess we'll find out as we do the quest out here. Okay, so we need to go to the Verdant Baby, which is not up there. Up there is the Matham house. Verdant Baby is down here. Right there. Alright. So let's go find Mr. Ronald's friends. And they are usually over here.
Hello.
Why, hello there. You have a message from Ronald? That's a shame. I was hoping Ronald had finished his discourse on my book, The Place. Did you hear that, Owen? Ronald isn't making it tonight. Oh, that's too bad. I was going to read from the Silvered Horn. Well, you have our thanks for coming all this way to tell us about his absence. I hope this book is as good as he claims. It is not like Ronald to miss our meetings. I trust he is working hard on his story, not caught in any silly games. So I think that's it. And then they just send us back to talk to Ronald again. But we won't be going back just yet. we are going to pause at the stables so that next time, like I said, I can run over to Winterhome, get that daily gift bag, maybe get some more of those marks. And then we'll head back to Dwaling and pick up the quest from there. But until then, bye for now.